This is a story about an experiment made by Alberto Bandura that started the theory of social learning. The experiment went like this. It was called the Bobo doll experiment. In 1961, Albert wanted to test a study that Sigmund Freud made, which was that observing aggressive and violent things will liberate tension of the observant. So Albert experimented with preschoolers in the University of Stanford, where he was a professor, and separated them into 3 groups. Group A had the kids observing the adults beat up the dolls. Group B had the kids observing the dolls being treated with non-aggressive behavior. Group C didn't see anything related to the dolls or anything at all. Here were the results. When they put Group A's kids in front of the dolls, they just started beating them up and throwing them away and doing all sorts of bad things. Group B and C, when they were presented with the dolls, they either played with them or just ignored it completely. A few years later, Albert decided to do the experiment again, using television instead of a physical person. And they put them into 2 groups. Group A watched the adults beat them up, and Group B just watched a non-violent doll playing. And the results, they were the same. Even though he tested with the television this time, the kids reacted the same way as the first time when they did the experiment with no television. The observation created the theory of social learning. The theory of social learning, according to simplypsychology.org, emphasizes the importance of observing, modeling, and imitating the behaviors, attitudes, and emotional reactions of others. Which basically means that your phone, computer, or even when you watch Netflix at 1 a.m. changes your personality or life drastically because of how much impact it has to us. It also counts the social interactions you have, which means friends, family, or community. Interesting enough, Alberto Bandura explains later on that it would be very dangerous if everyone learned solely based on experiences. For example, you know when your friend gets yelled at by his mom and you're just there watching it, and yeah, basically you're learning from his mistake. And also I want to give another example. Let's say that you're watching Twitch, which is a live broadcasting thing, which is basically like YouTube, but you're live the whole time and it's a lot of work. So basically, if you take 2 people, let's say you take Miskiff, which is a very explicit type person, or you take Pokimane, which is a very family-friendly community type thing. If you got some kids and you told them to watch Miskiff for a week, when they get out of there, they're gonna come out trying to be funny and being weird at the same time, and it's gonna be very different, and they're gonna be saying random stuff that their parents probably don't want them to say. But if you put them to watch Pokimane, then they're just gonna be like happy and stuff, but they're probably gonna grow up as simps in the future. So you gotta balance your learning stuff. Anyways, Alberto Bandura, he stated in his book called Social Learning Theory that, fortunately, the majority of humans learn from others' mistakes, which is observing them, making them change their habits or behavior. In the book, he explains 3 ways of social learning. 1 is by living it, 2 is by hearing it by an explanation or verbal instruction, and 3 is by reading, watching through television, all of those sort of things. Last thing I want to leave you with before you go will be 4 principles of social learning. Yay! Being attention, which is necessary for learning because you need to keep the observer focused, especially for kids, because if they get bored and see anything different, they're probably going to look at that than what you're showing them. The second one will be retention, which is internalizing the information and keeping them entertained. Reproduction, repeat what you said before so that they can get it in their head. And motivation, which is inspiring the observer because they need to be motivated to use that information in the future and want to change. In the end, the theory was to prove that the dolls weren't the only thing changing them. Those kids could have watched a motivational or inspiring story of a pacifist and never want to hurt a fly ever again. It all depends on the influences of others. That's why our parents say to choose your friends wisely, or worry about what games you're on, or what shows you're watching. It's all for a reason. I hope you learned something from this. Peace.